Let's get physical. It's Jordan here, back again with this week's update on all the physical releases coming to the Nintendo Switch. This week's cutoff points are the 4th of November until the 8th of November, Monday to Friday, week 1 of November. After last week's monstrous episode, naturally, it's a little less mental this week, but still some interesting games nonetheless. As always, if you want the series to keep going, leave us a comment with what's taking your fancy this week. What are you playing in your backlog, and what was the most recent addition to your collection? As you may have seen from last week's review, Luigi's Mansion 3 came for me quite early, a nice addition to my collection. It's such a fantastic game. Check out my review. Let us know yours, and let's get on with it. Fortnite is getting another physical release, although the physical is just a box with a code in it. This time it's the Dark Fire bundle, but Lord knows I'm too old to know what that exactly entails. Just be careful, parents, if you're thinking of picking this up for Christmas as a gift for your kid. This game can be downloaded for free on the eShop. It's just a hollow box, which makes everybody sad. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 is perhaps the highest profile release this week, with Sega bringing the biannual franchise back after missing last winter's games. Sega as the developer and publisher is a bit weird considering Nintendo handled the publishing before, but anyways, this looks to be a nice revitalization for the series that always struggled to cement its place in the party game scene. This one looks promising though, even including the 16-bit style bonus games, which looks pretty cool. November 5th and 8th for America and EU respectively. Disney Tum Tum Festival is finally making its way westwards. It's a party game that I've been told is, or was, quite popular. I have no idea. Up to 4 players can compete locally or online in a wide variety of games that includes curling and hockey. November 8th for this one. Sadly, we aren't getting the lovely looking custom Switch model like Japan is, but I guess we can't have everything. Garfield Caught is supposedly releasing in America and Europe on the 5th and 7th of November, respectively. That's according to the publisher Microids, although many retailers are stating otherwise. But we'll see. Anyways, the Switch is seeing yet another kart game hit the system, following on from the masterpiece that is Racing with Ryan. That's a joke. Any lasagna fans picking this one up? Stranded Sails is supposedly releasing this week for North Americans on the 8th, although I think Europeans are due for this one the week after. If you're unsure what it is, then consider checking out Juan's review of this game when it released digitally not too long ago. There will be a card in the top right hand corner for you to click once you've finished watching this video. Just Dance 2020 is exactly what it says on the tin. This eternally present series looks set to include more new songs. I mean, what else is there to say? What's most interesting is that this is still getting a release on the original Wii. That is crazy. And it's finally ignoring the Wii U, which is great for me because I'm tired of buying them for my collection. Are there any hardcore Just Dance fans out there? New Super Lucky's Tale is releasing on November 8th in the US, or the EU release seems to be a bit later on due to various sites saying differing dates. But anyways, this looked to be an old school 3D platformer that we always seem to crave. It was originally an Xbox exclusive, but now, like many other of those, it's making its way to the Switch. Juan is taking a look at this one for the channel, and we'll let you know how it is in our upcoming review. Are you excited about trying this one out? After being delayed for a few weeks, A Hat in Time is finally getting the physical release that many fans have been waiting for. This well-loved indie 3D platformer has one piece of DLC on the cartridge, something which the digital owners had to buy separately. While we've not played this version of the game ourselves, we have been told that it's not exactly the smoothest port in the world, which is a shame. Have any of you played this digitally already? If you have, what is it like? Do you recommend it to those looking to pick up the physical? Jumanji The Video Game is a licensed tie-in to the rebooted movie franchise starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who, let's face it, ain't no Robin Williams. But I digress. If it's anything like Outright Games' other outputs, it might be best to wait for some reviews before purchasing it blindly. Trust us on that. We've had our hands on a few of them, and we couldn't bear to play them for any longer than a few minutes. Layton's Mystery Journey Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy is the first Layton game that's playable on the big old telly from level 5. I must admit the series has gone beyond me since the first 2 games on the DS, so I have no idea if the quality has gone up or down. But if you're looking for some brain teasers, then this looks to be a great option with decent production, even if it was originally a 3DS game and episodic mobile game. And you can actually try it for free on your phones before you commit to a Switch purchase. 8th of November for this one. Before we head into uncertainties, I just want to say to you guys that making these videos is quite stressful for my anxiety. Making mistakes, errors, and telling you people wrong information burns me up far more than it should. And getting the dates for these retail releases really doesn't help. Dates change at the last minute, the publisher will tell me a game is releasing on this day, but the listing will say otherwise, and it's almost impossible for me to know for certain due to email responses taking like a week, or just being completely ignored by the publisher, which I find mind-blowing. It's as though they don't want their game freely advertised to thousands of people. And it seems that each week it's getting slightly worse, so I think I'm just going to ditch the uncertainties after this week, and from then on be slightly more casual with my approach to how definitively a game is releasing. I'll be saying probably, maybe, it looks like, and so on far more often, just to prevent me losing my mind. But anyways, Football, Tactics and Glory, also known as Soccer, Tactics and Glory in the US, was supposedly due for release physically on the 5th of November. That was according to Toplitz, the publisher who I contacted personally a couple of weeks ago. Although looking on various retailers' websites, it looks to be a little on the later side, maybe mid-November. Not that I can actually find it on Amazon UK anymore, it's disappeared. So, who knows? Finally, moving away from games just for a minute, I just want to give a shout out to a new variant of the Nintendo Switch Lite, Zaxian and Zamazenta Edition. Pokemon's new legendary creatures are getting their very own Switch. I have to admit, it's a little weird in its coloring, kind of like a Game Boy Grey with blue buttons on the left and pink on the right, but there's a lovely decal on the back of the two Pokemon in question. Have you been biding your time for a Switch Lite for this one? There are purchase links below, if so. Or have you already picked up one of the other variants? Or perhaps you're waiting for our giveaway. And with that, before we get into today's low print games, just a reminder that if you're new here, hit that subscribe button for awesome weekly content like this, bargains, as well as a healthy dollop of all the latest Switch reviews. Plus, you'll be in with a chance of winning a Nintendo Switch Lite and a copy of Link's Awakening once we hit 50,000 subscribers. It could be you, and we've just recently squeezed past 40,000 of you beautiful people. Thanks for joining us. Let's push on and get to that magical 50k. Okay, low print games. As speculated last week, Super Rare Games' next physical release is Steam World Quest, although it's going to be on sale slightly later than I expected, the 7th of November, with 7,000 copies. I'm not sure why they decided to go through Super Rare Games, considering they managed to publish a normal retail release of SteamWorld Dig 2, which these days can be found at a very reasonable price. I really don't like it when publishers who are very well capable of doing it themselves turn to these low print companies. It just looks like it's more for profit than looking out for the consumer. I'll be staying clear despite it being a quality game. Also, last week I missed a few limited run game stuff. Firstly, Mercenaries Wings, the 4th game in the Mercenaries series. I knew there was a reason I picked Mercenaries Saga Chronicles as my spotlight last week. Anyways, this is just distributed by Limited Run. It's technically being published by PM Studios. Again, I'm not sure what the point is. PM Studios have already done things by themselves before, more affordably too, but I guess it's more for profit these days. Stranger Things 3, the game is being published by Limited Run Games as their 51st Switch game, which probably makes Limited Run the biggest publisher on the Switch, right? Being contrary to their very own brand. But anyways, this license tie-in is available for pre-order now until December. Not only that, but Limited Run Games are hilariously teaming up with shovelware licensed Dross Studio Outright Games to produce a collector's edition of Jumanji the video game, which we just mentioned earlier. It's getting a wide retail release for a standard version, but this collector's edition is exclusive to Limited Run with 2,000 copies, which has a poster, soundtrack, yay, and some reproduction board game figurines, which is kind of cool, admittedly. But still, Jumanji? Really? Sorry, I must be in a really grumpy mood this week. Before we get into the imports, if you want to support the show and buy your games at the same time, we have affiliate links for every game talked about here. We have Amazon US, Amazon UK, and Play Asia for these upcoming juicy imports. So if you're going to buy the games anyways, consider helping us out too. These affiliate links really help us out massively to keep improving the show. Anyways, imports. The Fruit, Labyrinth and Eden of Grisaia full package is releasing in Japan on the 7th. This is a trilogy of games, which I believe are visual novel types with some risque elements. You know the kind. If you want to import this, then it's a good candidate due to English being on the cartridge. It is a multi-language release. I suspect these games have their audience, but I can't say I know much about them myself. Play Asia says all their initial allocations have been sold out already, even though it's not out yet. Well, that is at the time of writing, but links are below for you to check out for yourself. Next, we have a release that perhaps has the longest title I have ever seen. Are you ready? Sumikogurashi The Movie, the pop-up book and the secret child. Let's play the world of picture books in a game. Do I need to say it anymore? Looks to be a party game, minigame collecting thing with no English as far as I can tell. This is releasing on the 7th too. And that's it for imports this week. A super subdued week indeed. Moving on to this week's Spotlight Physical. This week we're taking a quick look at Disgaea 1 Complete, mainly in honor of Disgaea 4 Complete releasing last week. There are 3 Disgaea games on the Switch right now, Disgaea 1, 4 and 5, and they all offer vast amounts of crazy over-the-top strategy for dozens and dozens of hours. I've played 5, I reviewed it for my old channel and loved it, but I picked up this first entry fairly cheaply, but haven't got around to playing it yet, but I'm sure it's just as awesome as 5 with it being a remaster and with extra content. The physical, at least on this American version, has a reversible cover, which is definitely the way to my heart. Reversible covers are a must. And there we have it, guys, all the physical releases coming this week. Not the biggest week ever, but some interesting ones for sure. Let us know which ones you'll be picking up, if any, and a comment always helps us out massively, as does a quick thumbs up. Be sure to check out last week's episode, as well as our review of Luigi's Mansion 3, which, well, let's just say I fell in love. I'll see you guys over there. Take care.